Hey everybody, welcome back to question number 4 out of question number 5 with Cherisa Jerez. We're super excited to have her here today. Um, Man, does she have an awesome background. She's done some really cool things, and I can't do it justice, so I'm going to let her do it some justice by explaining it to all of you. Cherisa, the mic's yours. Please walk us through your background, help us understand what's going on in your world and what you've done.
Awesome, Zach. I'm happy to do it. Some people say it's an extensive background. Some people say it's crazy. I mean, it's probably somewhere in the middle, right? A little bit of both. But before I tell you a little bit about my background, I really just want to thank you for this incredible opportunity, for this initiative, and what you're doing for the veteran community. The energy that you're putting out there, the effort that you're putting out there. I hope that it comes back to you 100 times over. So I just think this is wonderful. Um,
Thanks.
yeah, yeah, my pleasure. So, in terms of my background, I can say I'm a student of life and a student for life. So I began in El Paso, Texas. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, but I grew up in El Paso, Texas, and graduated from the University of Texas, El Paso. I'm a very proud UTEP minor. Got my degree in accounting, and then realized at the end of that it was not exactly what I wanted to do. I
I
couldn't
can,
see
how
myself.
I can tell you're a glutton for punishment because you have a degree in accounting.
Yeah. The funny thing is, it's always I asked what was um, the hardest area of focus in the College of Business, and somebody said, "Oh, accounting," and I was like, "Challenge accepted." So yeah, I've had this vice since I was little. But anyway, after that, I decided I really wanted to be Top Gun. I wanted to be Tom Cruise. Like I had a very clear vision, flying off those naval carriers, except that at the time I didn't realize they were naval carriers. And I marched my happy self to the Army recruiting office, and they gladly signed me on board. So I shipped off to the Army to basic training in June of 2005, and I was fortunate enough to get my head on straight and commission at OCS in December of 2005 and began my career as a signal officer focused in IT. And then, after I had joined the Army to go see the world and travel all these beautiful countries, they stationed me back home at Fort Bliss. So I went right back to El Paso and made the best of it. Got my MBA while I was there. Did my 3 years of active duty. Was with the 11th Air Defense Artillery Brigade. So I learned a lot about the air defenders. And then after active duty time, I went to Puerto Rico. I transitioned to the reserves and began my career in medical device manufacturing with Boston Scientific there in the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. And so that began a very special, very long journey for me in supply chain and manufacturing. I was also a military spouse, which meant that, when it was PCS time, I needed to pick up and find another job, another role, usually another industry. And so that really led to that crazy eclectic background where I was building medical devices or instrument transformers or aerospace bearings or, take your pick. And in 2019, I actually went back to the origins and I went to work for Smiths Medical as a plant manager. And I had the North American distribution network for medical devices and disposables. And so I was really in the middle of the battle when COVID took over and we had to ramp up and build respiratory devices. And I think that was probably one of the biggest professional challenges of my career, but also one of the most rewarding from just the unity that happened in the factory. But after all of that, we decided it was time to come home. And my husband had retired from the Army after 20 years. So we packed up and we came to Florida and set up shop. The first year that we were here, I took on a job with Trajector Legal, and I was fighting for veterans' disability benefits and supporting 3 offices, one in Utah, one in Puerto Rico, and one in the Philippines. And then after that year, the business was growing, and it was time for me to join my husband, my partner in life, and now work at Ashire Technologies. So for the last almost 2 years, we have really just been managing rapid growth and just incredible learnings and opportunities, leading Ashire together.
Wow, what an amazing background. And I said this on the other episodes, but I'll say it here again real quick. The roles that you played as active duty reservist, that's one hat. And the other hat is mom, wife, picking up and just moving because you were married now to the military, and that's
Hmm.
hard. We talked about that in the other one, so kudos.
Thank you.
Big kudos. Thank you. We just want to acknowledge that. And for people that are just coming in on episode 4 here, part 4, we talk about this just like we did here in 1, 2, and 3. So the whole idea is to pick people up um, from that just hop in on a episode so they can hear her background. Um, yeah, we just want to say thanks. That's the hardest role,
I agree.
and because you're giving up more and you're sacrificing more. Um, anyway, so as we dig into this again, let's talk about question number 4 and a question number 5.
Okay.
Um, you have an extensive experience that we just talked through, right? And we've highlighted it. We've spent some of the previous episodes talking about this. It includes leadership in multi-site global operations, expertise in lean culture, Lean Six Sigma, continuous improvement. Can you narrate and talk about an instance where where you successfully led a lean transformation with an organization and outline the outcome it achieved? So I'm reading this question that I have wrote down slowly because it's a mouthful, and
Sure.
I'm trying to make sure that you hear it because we're recording.
Yeah.
So I'll repeat it one more time. Right,
Okay.
you got a lot of experience, multi global operations expertise, lean cultures, um, Six Sigma, continuous improvement. Can you narrate or just talk about a particular instance where you've led a transformation within an organization and outline the outcomes it achieved?
Sure. I think I'm going to take us back to something you might be familiar with, and I'm hoping made it to where you were at the time at Smith's Medical, but I
So, for those of you who don't know, I actually met Cherisa because of our time at Smith's Medical. Um, and she's a phenomenal leader, and we became aware of each other through a diversity inclusion um, activity at Smith's Medical through a military affiliation. So that's how I know her, in case you were curious.
yeah. So I would say from the moment I got to Smith's at the Dublin facility, my goodness, I was just so impressed with the caliber of people and I mean, so many of them had spent their entire adult lives working in this facility. Professionals and, the teams in the production areas. I mean, across the board. This was a place that people gave their all, their lives. And I mean, the even the camaraderie within the workforce showed how close this team was. So I was very excited to see that implementing lean principles and implementing the spirit of continuous improvement would go to the next level in an organization like this, in an environment like this, because of what was already there. And the first thing that I noticed when I walked into the Dublin facility is that it had not had a facility upgrade since the mid 80s. So I jokingly remember walking into the main conference room and all of the chairs were like that 80s mauve, and the decor was like mauve and turquoise. It was really popular in the 80s. And so that was like, alert, alert, there has not been a facility upgrade in this place for a very long time. And the good thing is, with my financial background, I knew that we could leverage capital investments to bring the facility to where it needed to be, because it was a state of the art facility from a human capital standpoint. We just needed to match the physical infrastructure. And I bring that up, and people are saying, well, what does a facility outfit have to do with lean? Well, if you want to get people excited about problem solving and continuous improvement, give them a space around them that they can be excited about. And so we literally tore down walls and cleaned out a very large closet space and turned it into a lean manufacturing continuous improvement brainstorming space. I mean, everything
Cool.
in there was designed for collaboration and problem solving. And so we built, we used our core principles: safety, quality, people, delivery, cost. And we assigned with the A3. And I don't want to get really technical because we're going to have non lean people are like, what in the world is she talking about? But essentially, every process owner, every department head became the spearhead for their department's initiatives to drive improvements. And we made sure that by measuring those improvements, it wasn't just conceptual, but it was actually data driven improvements that were going to show through trending and through analysis, either improvements to the bottom line, growth and cost avoidance, something that's tangible, that's measurable, because theory doesn't get you in the gut the way that data does. And so it also, the core, like whether it's Six Sigma and you're improving from, 4 to a 5 Sigma, or it's a lean methodology where you're going in and you're just identifying waste through Gemba walks. At the heart of all of it, it's people working together and asking questions together and supporting one another in front of others. So at the core of all of it, it comes down to teamwork and alignment and vision. And we began that with a morning Gemba meeting and then a walk around the entire factory every morning, all of us as a leadership team. And they would hear the questions that I would ask, and then after a few weeks, I wasn't asking them anymore because they were asking them, right? So I just the improvements that we saw across the board, all metrics, inventories, deliveries, facility costs. I mean, just uh, productivity of personnel, like across. We saw it. I mean, there was a big buzz, Zach, you should remember, because everybody was talking about the wonderful things Dublin was doing. We even had a press move from Tijuana into Ohio. So I think that's my gem of a lean story, is that facility, because of the amazing talent across the board at every level, and just seeing people's faces light up when they'd walk into the new lobby, or they'd walk down the new paved hallways with epoxy, or into the lean room where we had state of the art equipment to you know draw diagrams, and I mean plotters to print. It was just, we put our money where our mouth was, and I think it made all the difference.
Yeah, you had some super good talent there too. A lot of good people. Um, I remember some of those milestones, and I remember people saying, "Hey, um, let's come use this facility for this," and like wanting to plan meetings to go there because of the facility. So job well done. Um,
Okay.
and I think that you you did lead by example there, and you did create a culture, and um, it did move the needle. Um, and you should be proud of that.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, I lived part of that. I know what you're saying, and it was pretty rad to see from sitting in a different seat. So with all that you've done, what can we do to continue to support you and lift you up? And how can we be a community and a champion for you?
Yeah, so I love good thoughts. If you watch this and you're like, huh, that makes sense. I like that. Just send me a good thought because I guarantee you I will feel it in one way or another. We're a world full of energy, just amazing, incredible energy, uplifting each other. So I am a big proponent. Send me across the wavelength. Otherwise, I would obviously, appreciate support for Ashire Tech. We are really excited about what we're doing with the Air Force and in the DoD space. We're very proud of the efforts that we're taking to support organizations in protecting their data across the federal information systems. We really want to branch into the commercial sector. So if there's anything that we can do to help put in administrative controls, coach you through, the ins and outs of a strong cyber program, or if I can help you with some of my experience in manufacturing supply chain and offer some consulting support, I'd be very excited to hear what's out there and how we can help. So www.ashiretech.com.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Cherisa, she's fantastic. She's got a ton of varying different experiences. We're excited that her leadership is touching the cyber world now, because I've seen her be successful in a variety of different roles. She's a leader. That's why she's here on Leaders Lead. And let's go help lift her up and drive a stronger community, stronger group of connections, and let's help her continue to be successful in the careers that her and her husband and the excuse me, the company that they're building. With that being said, thanks for staying with us for question number 4 out of 5. We'll be back on the next episode for question 5 out of 5. It's gonna be epic. We're gonna go a little off script on 5 out of 5, and Cherisa doesn't even know it yet.
Oh boy.
It's it's gonna be epic. So, you won't wanna miss it. So, thanks for sticking with us, and we'll be back, for 5 out of 5. Thanks, everybody.